I want to congratulate the football team on a couple of hard-fought, incredible victories, but remind them they don't really have to make them quite as nerve-wracking as they've been. But what a great start. I want to take just a few moments and introduce the platform party. Starting at my left is Anita Minard, who is our Division Chair for Humanities. Perhaps just in the essence of time, I appreciate your enthusiasm, but let's hold the applause till the end. Next to Linda is Dr. Jim Drost, who is a Division Chair for Applied Technology. James Tower is next to him. He is a pastor of our founding church, College Avenue Friends. James Tower. Next to him is Ron Bryan, who is the superintendent of the Iowa Yearly Meeting and a member of our Board of Trustees. Then it will be Kay DeLange. I'll introduce her more later, but she will be our guest speaker. Dr. Noel Staley, our Vice President for Academic Affairs. Kathy Williamson, our Division Chair for Education. Gary Christopher, our Division Chair for Health and Life Sciences. Mike Collins, the Chair of Social and Behavioral Sciences. Linda Parker, our Vice President for College for Working Adults. And Monty Borfarin, who is our Division Chair of Undergraduate Studies at CWA. We also have a few trustees in the audience. If you're willing to stand to recognize our trustee, Jerry Ellis, our chair is here. Joe Kirkham, who is our vice chair, I think is coming, but he's late, which won't surprise anybody, unless he's here. Okay. I also want Carly Schmaltz, who is our SGA president, to come forward. She's a little nervous about this, but she is your student body president, so please welcome her and make her even more nervous. Carly.
Hello, like John said, my name is Carly Schmaltz, and I'm the 2015-2016 SGA president. I'm here to announce our 2015-2016 SGA. We have Jing Yang, who's our vice president. Leslie Hernandez Reyes, who is our events coordinator. Lauren Abbas, who is our public relations director. Megan Miner, who is our treasurer. Zachary Johnson, who is our administrative assistant. And then we also have Dwayne Johnson, who is our student life director. He's in the band, I think. So this is your 2015-2016 SGA.
Before I make a few short remarks and introduce Kay, I'd like to outline the rest of the program. After Kay's remarks, we will immediately sing our alma mater, led by the William Penn Singers, following which the benediction will be offered by Ron Bryan. And then, would you please stand for the alma mater and stay standing for the benediction, and then stay in your seats while the platform party recesses. I want to just take a few moments to maybe outline a little bit of William Penn's history that you are now part of and that you should be very proud of. It should be pretty obvious to you all that we're a pretty diverse institution in every way you can define diversity: ethnic, geographic, economic, academic, religious, the list can go on and on. In today's world, that's usually important. And you may not know this yet, but it will give you a leg up as you go out and begin your career. To be able to understand in a very intimate way the value in everyone and being able to work with people who don't look like you, believe like you, or think like you is critical for success today. Perhaps more strongly, that understanding of others is essential for cohesiveness and peace in all that we and the world will try to accomplish. It is something that all institutions are striving for. For Penn, it is who we have always been due to the belief and values of our founders, the Society of Friends. Quakers' belief of that of God within everyone, or the value of every individual, has been the basis of Penn from its beginning. I'd like to give you just a short snapshot of the history to point out that we are today who we have always been. Today we have students in a 1,000-plus student body, almost 1,100 from 42 states and 22 countries. I have a picture hanging in my office that I absolutely love from 1945. We only had 100 students back in 1945, and there are four students in this picture. A young Caucasian lady from Indiana, a young Caucasian male from Iowa, an African-American male from Illinois, and a Japanese-American female from the relocation camps in California. I also have an article from the 1947 student body newspaper. We had grown to 247 students at that point. Those students represented 24 states, 2 foreign countries, with 22 different religions on our campus. It was unique in 1947, and it is unique today. But for us, because of our inherent belief, it is natural. Our first graduate in 1873 was a female, at a time when women didn't typically attend college. In 1902, our first African American student graduated. Obviously, we were a diverse student body then, in a small town in the middle of, I almost said nowhere, Iowa, but that's not true. Okay, in the middle of America, just as we are today. Be proud of being a statesman. You made that decision, but understand your experience here will be what you make of it. You are in a time of life that you should enjoy and grow and look back fondly on. That will happen as you exert effort into your studies as well as your other activities. You are here to develop and expand your academic and intellectual capabilities. You have the opportunity to also develop your social, emotional, and other talents, whether they be athletic, dramatic, musical, or leadership. It is a time of life where perhaps you may neglect your spiritual development. Allow me to tell you that your other talents will be magnified if you do not shortchange that part of your being. If you have a church at home, find that church in Oskaloosa. We will help you find it. If you are looking for a church, our founding church just a few blocks south of the gym will welcome you with open arms. You can actually ask Pastor Tower, but they might even feed you periodically. In short, be involved and sincere in all aspects of your life. Do not shortchange any of them. I am a proud 1984 graduate of this institution, and as a first-generation college student, an immigrant, and someone who had to become a naturalized U.S. citizen, I have seen firsthand the power of education. Some of my family will argue that the naturalization part didn't actually work, but the opportunities that become available if you endure in your education endeavor is beyond what you can imagine today. Kay is here today because she believes in people. I also think she has a great story to tell. I am sure that as she was growing up just a few short miles south of here, attending small schools, she never imagined she would be in the position she is today, or to have the opportunities that she has had. But she put a concerted effort in being successful in attaining her degrees in spite of not knowing exactly where it would take her. This is the power of education, but the fuel necessary to feed that power comes within all of us. Kay currently serves on our board, but has a longer connection with Penn. While she did not graduate from here, she spent some of her summer days attending basketball camp here. We are very fortunate to have her as an involved and caring member of our trustees. And now for a formal education, let me just tell you a little bit about Kay. She grew up on a cattle farm in southern Iowa, graduated from Eddyville High School, about 9 miles south of here. She continued exploring her interest in math and science and graduated in 1989 with a bachelor's degree in biotechnology and 2 minors, chemistry and economics, from the University of Northern Iowa. She went on to pursue her master's degree in food science from the University of Minnesota and graduated in 1991 prior to starting her career with Cargill immediately after graduation. Over the past 24 years, she has held positions in quality assurance, research and development, environmental health and safety, and various operational roles, including facility management. Other work experience included participating in an international plant startup, participation in organizational redesign, developing a biotech strategy for the corporation, and leading the EHS integration of 6 facilities located in the United States, Canada, and Mexico. In September of 2013, she became Vice President and Operations Manager for Cargill Salt, responsible for the safe and efficient operations of 19 manufacturing facilities producing salt for food, water, conditioning, feed, and industrial applications. A young lady from a small town in rural Iowa. She is passionate about servant leadership, developing talent, and building communities. With that, please welcome home your Convocation speaker, Kay DeLange.
Thank you, John. Privileged to be here. All right, so who woke up this morning and said, on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being the best day of your life, Convocation makes today a 10? All right, look at that. My mom. Oh, there's another one. Another person raising their hand. This was a plant. This is my mother in the front row, and I said, Mom, if nobody else raises their hand, you got to. And so, oh, Joe Crookham, thanks. A token hand raising later. So that's what I was thinking too. And John said, Kay, we need you, no small task, we need to come down and share an inspiring, engaging message that sets the group off on a great new year. Some that keeps them excited. Well, geez, okay, what am I going to talk about? I'm more worried about keeping you awake. So, what I decided is if we're going for 10, the only thing I can come up with is top 10. I'm going to share with you the top 10 things that I know now that I wish I knew when I was sitting in your chair. Or maybe I knew them and was doing them, but I never really put my finger on them that purposefully. And so I'm back here today. I live in a small town west of the Twin Cities in Minnesota, but I'm here because I care about this community and I care about people and I care about the talent of this university. And so to keep you awake, we're going to do some audience participation. So I'm going to need you in a couple spots. All right, and this will be your cue. When I stomp my foot, you have 4 words to say. I'm not doing that. Okay? Ready? Let's try it. Ready? All right, one more time. Louder. I'm not doing that. Excellent. All right. Okay, you are ready to roll. So with that, I'm giving you my top 10. Top 10 things I wish I knew from where you sit. Number 10 on the list is about mopping floors. What the heck? People ask me why I bought a mop today. Oh. A mop has great meaning to me. I never knew that a mop was going to be the start of my very tenured career with Cargill. See, I was a freshman in college, and much like you, I was home in the summer, and I was going to sponge off my parents, right? I'm a starving college kid, and I got to save money. And so there was an ad in the paper, and Cargill said, we're going to hire a dozen college kids for $6 an hour. $6 an hour was huge. Minimum wage was $3, so this was double that. Well, I said, I'll do that. And so begins my career with Cargill. Only it wasn't Cargill, it was a contractor of Cargill, and it was the sanitation team. So I show up on my first day of work, and I'm excited to be there, excited to work hard. What I didn't know is the sanitation team is even more excited, because this is their job for 12 months of the year, and when they know they have summer help coming, they save the best work for us. And so I remember a especially tough day. It was 100 degrees in the shade, and we had to get up at 4 or 5 in the morning to go hose the floors, scoop corn, and wash the equipment. And so I said, okay, we got a special job for you today. It's 100 degrees in the shade. We need you to go up to the top of the final product tanks. This is down here, Cargill, Eddyville. Top of final product tanks, and we need you to hose those tanks clean. Cleaner than they've ever been because we got a customer coming through. And so I went to the top floor, and they didn't give me a hose. They gave me a steam hose. It was a steam hose, and I had to wear special gloves because it was so hot. And all I remember is my safety glasses were fogged up, and I had sweat running down my face, and you know what I could have said? I could have said, but I didn't. And then, amazingly enough, I was actually very thankful, because I knew that the work I was doing when I was gone, somebody was going to do that work. and it made me value every tough moment of education that I had already experienced and was gonna experience. The other thing I learned is that work is incredibly important. Little did I know that I was gonna go on and oversee many manufacturing facilities, and the work of our sanitation teams is just as important as my work. They own the reputation of our facilities for our guests, our visitors, our customers. So the point is, mop the floors when they need to be mopped. Funny story, 30 years later, my husband and I opened a microbrewery last year. And it's a new business, it's a startup, all hands on deck. And it was the first day after closing, and we were closing up and there was a lingering customer. And I grabbed a mop. And he said, "You must be the owner." And I said, "How did you know?" And he said, "Because I saw you pick up something off the floor and you're grabbing a mop." And it was a really telling moment because my 13-year-old son, Ryan, was standing there. And he said, "Yeah, Mom, why are you mopping?" I said, "Son, the floors need mopped. You two can go to school, work your tail off, and pick up a mop." So that is my first point, is the importance of mopping floors, doing the work that needs to be done. My next point is about making doors. So you've all heard the cliche about education opens doors. It absolutely is true. I knew that when I was hosing floors, and I knew I wanted more to contribute more to the community than what I was asked to do. But 2 years in of mopping floors, I decided I wanted to work there. The people in this team were having fun, they were goal-oriented, I can see they were successful, I wanted to be a part of it. So I called up the lab manager and I said, "Hey, I'm coming back next summer again, but do you guys have a lab internship or something?" And he said, "Well, that sounds like a good idea. Okay." I'm sharing this with you because this is a question I get on every leadership panel I sit in. And they talk about being stuck. Okay, you talk about opportunity, you talk about paving a path. What if you're not getting the development or opportunities you need? What if things aren't panning out? What if you're stuck? And I never know how to answer that question because I have no idea what they're talking about, because I've never let myself get stuck. If there wasn't a door, I made a door. Quite frankly, I don't think I've ever been told no outside of my youth and my parents. When I've said, "Hey, here's a business need, this is how I think I could help," the answer's always been yes. So mop floors, but make your own doors when there doesn't seem to be one. So that actually set a change in my career path. I came that next summer and I had a lab internship. Wasn't that exciting. It was a key decision point because I decided I needed more education to do what I was going to do. And you know what? I did come back to Cargill, but I started doing the same thing I'd done when I was an undergrad for 6 months. And then I moved to research and development, and I was there for a year. And then I said, these are my strengths, this is my passion, this is what I love to do. I would like to cross over into operations. I made a door. I think part of the reason people say yes is because of the Marilyn factor. Marilyn, she is the most impressive woman I know. One thing that strikes me about Marilyn is that when you walk by her, she's always smiling. Doesn't matter if it's raining outside or it's been a bad day, she's always smiling. I came to depend on Marilyn for that smile, because not every day was that great. Every day was tough when I first started at Cargill. The other thing I noticed about Marilyn is she had the job and factor. There's the job, mopping floors. Marilyn was a janitor. She was asked to mop floors. But she did way more than mop floors. And she did it without even being told or asked. She would notice the door was off kilter, and she would find a bolt and fix the door. She would notice the recurring pile on the floor, on the bottom floor, and she traced it to an equipment leak 3 floors up that was hidden and going down the structural steel and making a slip-trip hazard for somebody else. And she asked the maintenance supervisor to help her fix it and to set up cones so nobody would slip and fall. Marilyn also had probably more health and family challenges than this whole room combined. And you would never know. She came to work every day doing the job, and she was noticeable. She took her meager means, and she would bring decorations to work at holidays. She had a 3-foot artificial tree, and it would be decorated for all of the coworkers and Cargill employees to enjoy. Number 8 on my list, school's gonna open doors. You're gonna have to open some for your own, but have the Maryland factor. I strive to be Maryland. I look for Marylands. I hire Marylands. All right, so I'm rocking and rolling in my career, so I think. And all right, here I am, front end of my career, open a door, I'm in operations, I'm a frontline supervisor. And I'm smart, and I'm pretty sure I know exactly what I need to do. And so I came to work one day, and there was a significant work challenge to face. And it was a Saturday morning, and I'm driving in thinking, all right, I know exactly what we're gonna do. Got it all figured out in my head. We're gonna get this problem banged out about noon, and then I'll be able to go back home to my family and friends. All right, so I walk into the control room where all of the equipment operations are managed. And remember, these people work 24/7 every day of the year. Somebody's working a night shift, somebody's working a day shift. And so I blow into the control room, and I start mapping up the plan. Okay, we'll do this, and you'll do that, and it's all good, right? We got the plan. We're gonna make this happen. We're gonna solve this problem. There is no bigger problem than this problem right here to solve and get tackled for Cargill. And so I walk towards the door. I'm ready to leave. I open that door, and there's nobody following me. I was really mad. And this is not what they were doing, but they might as well have been doing it. My vision is that they were rocked back in their chairs with their hands behind their heads and their feet up on the desk. And so I'm fuming, and I'm stubborn, and I'm determined, and I'm hard-willed. I'm just gonna fix it myself. I don't need you, I'll just do it. And so I went out in the plant, and 6 hours later, twice as long as it should have taken, I solved the problem. And I was mad because the people who needed to solve the problem with me weren't anywhere close. And if this happens again next Saturday or Sunday, I'm right back in here solving it. So I'm driving home, and I'm focused on them. What's wrong with these people? They're broken. I need new people. Right? Ouch. And then I started reflecting. I said, well, what if it's not them? What if it's me? And that stung, because the reason they didn't follow me isn't because it wasn't a good, smart plan. They didn't give me their hands because I had never spent time going after their hearts. I didn't know their kids' names, I didn't know their spouses' names, I didn't know what was important to them personally and professionally, and I didn't know the challenges that they were going through. That was a really hard day to come to terms with that, but I decided to own it and change it. And so I want to fast forward to my next experience. About knowing and being yourself. So I mentioned I became a steward, a study of others, of leaders that I emulated that seemed to be able to engage and inspire their talent. And so after studying that, I was given the opportunity to lead another department. And this department had probably 30 people in it with probably collectively over 400 years of experience in the area, and I had 0. The only thing that I knew is that about this department is that when it was raining outside, it was the shortest way to get from building A to building B. And so I sat down with the manager and started an orientation. And he started telling me all about the plant, technically how it ran. I mean, this gentleman had 400 years within him. He was the technical guru of the area I was asked to lead. So I'm taking notes feverishly for a week. He's telling me which steam valve needs to be positioned at what valve opening, and he's telling me this is what the flow rate should be, and I'm writing it down. And then he left. And so I'm looking at my paper and reflecting on what he told me, and I said, you guys are a little slow. Tells me you're asleep. All right, if I tried to do that, that's not the gift I have to lead this team. Me leading them technically down this path is going to, at best, maintain where we're at. I've got to come in and give this team something different. So I took that piece of paper and I threw it away. Boldest career move I ever made. Try to reflect now why I did it. I just did it. But instead, I made a list of the 5 character strengths that no matter what the team was asked to do, these were the character strengths that would take us forward substantially. People that had high levels of initiative. People who generated solutions. People who were candid. People who had the spirit of recognition and valuing others. And then we got to work. And I remember the previous manager, you know, he said, we have business meetings on Friday morning. Okay. I sat in them. Everybody was asleep. And so instead, I got to know them. I started to lead with heart. What's important to you? And of course I had my list, but they had items on their list that was important too, and so their top items became my top 3. And yeah, I had some business metrics on occasion that we would go to if we needed to talk about challenges, but more importantly, we talked about the success of the department, what was going on. Within 2 years, this is the impact of leading with heart. And leading, knowing yourself and leading in your own authentic way. We received the Best Mill in the Division Award, voted on by peers not only from within the site, without the site. We would have business meetings, and people would be on a week-long vacation. They would come in the middle of their vacation just to go to the meetings. You talk about job and. Right? Talk about the Maryland factor for myself. I just created the Maryland factor in a whole bunch of people. And we were sitting in one of the meetings. I started keeping track. You talk about innovation and competitive advantage. There were at least 12 new ideas, 3 of which were patentable. Every one of you are going to be given a job. You have a job to do right now. It's be a student. Okay, check. What's the job and? How do I go and beyond? I'm telling, it doesn't work with my own kids, by the way. My 13-year-old comes home the other day and he said, Mom, Jake's coming over. We got problems we need to do for math. We're going to do them together. I said, oh, that'd be great. I'm trying to sneak in a Maryland factor. Why don't you make up 2 problems for each other? That teacher would be really impressed if you'd do that. Well, it didn't work with him. I'm hoping it works with you. The point here is to know and be yourself. What do you think I do when I travel to the salt facilities I oversee? I oversee 20 of them. I'm on the road 60% of the time. Well, the first thing I do is not review business information. It's not reviewing the accomplishments or challenges of the site. It's to pull out my iPad and review my values. Review my core values because that's my North Star. Heck, I didn't even write them down until my 30s. But no matter where my day takes me, I know that's where I have to be true to. And I know that the reason I would leave Cargill is if I could never be my authentic self. All right, so I just shared with you about hard work, the job, and figuring out how to lead with heart. Now I want to talk about something more painful. They're called balloon moments. Balloon moments are those moments of choice that will happen today. And I call them balloon moments because what do balloons do? They pop. Or they go down, right? Especially these kind. Balloons do two things. They shrink or expand. And in every moment of pain, every challenge that's in front of you, there's always two choices. And there's three words you need to remember. Choose and shrink or expand. I'll tell you my only regret. I'm excited to share this one because my son and my mom have never heard this. I only have one regret in my whole life so far. It happened when I was a freshman in college. I love softball. Unfortunately, and I was pretty good at it, but unfortunately where I was getting scholarships didn't line up with the academic portion that I need to pursue. So that's all right. I'll walk on, right? They save a couple slots on the team for walk-ons, right? And so I went to the walk-on meeting, and it was at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and the coach is talking about the tryout process, and I sit in the back, and I'm not listening to the coach. I'm sizing up everybody in the room. This is resonating with a few, I can tell. And I looked to my right, and I convinced myself that everybody on my right was stronger than me. Did you see their pipes? I mean, I'm a line drive hitter. I'm not a home run hitter. And I looked to my left, and I'm pretty sure everybody on my left was faster than me. And so we closed, and he said, we'll see you tomorrow at 4 o'clock for tryouts. Well, he didn't see me because I chose to shrink. It's the only regret I had because I didn't own it. I quit on myself. I convinced myself not to believe. Heck, knowing what I know now, I would have rather stepped in and bombed. I would have rather stepped in and failed than to not even step in. Call it a balloon moment, shrink or expand. That's an example of shrinking and shrinking bad. I'll give you another example. I call it an expansion example. We'll see what you think. This was 7 years ago. This is pretty recent. And those who know me closely know I don't bake or cook, right? Yeah. And you know what? There's nothing. You guys remember it's your birthday at school? It's treat day. It's leader of the day. It's star of the day. All right, so my youngest son, it's his day. It's his birthday. And he wants little cupcakes with sharks on them jumping out of the water. Okay, I can do this. So I go in the kitchen, I get the ingredients, and I make half vanilla, half chocolate. I ice the frosting, it's blue. I get little toothpicks, and I put all these little gummy sharks on the toothpicks. It's a masterpiece, right? And so I said, Ryan, I would hate for you to spill these on the bus tomorrow. So I'm going to take them to school, and I'll have them there in the morning so that plenty of time for your afternoon treat where you're the star of the day. You know where the story's going, don't you? So I dropped him off at school, and I go to work. And I busy myself doing the job and looking for things, driving value, coaching employees. And I walk out to my car at the end of the day and open the door, and there those cupcakes sit. I think ripping my heart out would have been less painful than that moment. And so this is a balloon moment, right? All right, what do I do now? I shrink or expand. And so for me that day, expansion wasn't about trying to minimize his hurt or fix it somehow, although I was desperately analyzing those options in my mind. I thought this is the moment where I expand and I teach some life lessons. So I drive out to my mom's house, was watching him, and I'm driving there through a fog of tears. And I get to the house, and he's standing on the deck, and he just looks at me with big crocodile tears. And he said, "Mom, why didn't you come?" And so I knelt down, and I looked at him in the eye. I said, "Mommy made a mistake. I forgot something that was really important to you, and it was really important to me. And I am so, so sorry. And I'd ask for your forgiveness, and we'll find a way." He gave me the biggest hug and smile everywhere, ever. And so for me, that was expansion. Not to make him stop crying, not to minimize what he was feeling, but to own the failure, be accountable for it, and teach my son a life lesson of failing and trying to expand. Here's the funny thing. He thinks I forgot cupcakes like 5 times in my life. I didn't. I only forgot them 1 time. Because you know what I did? I had my team set timers for me in all future years so I wouldn't forget to take cupcakes. The point is, you are going to have balloon moments. Who's had one today? Yeah. And you're going to have one this afternoon, and you're going to have one tomorrow. Own your choice. Shrink or expand. Where are we on time, John? Holy cow, it's almost lunchtime. All right. 4, connect with the unconnected. I like this one because it's a contrast. Connect with the unconnected is a special point you're experiencing right now. You have so many different people from different parts of the world and country assembled here. You're like a mini Cargill. Connect with the unconnected. Transformation doesn't happen in the center. Paradigm change, innovation doesn't happen in the center. It happens on the edge. And to go to the edge, you have to connect with people that are different than you. I remember flying halfway across the world for Cargill and meeting with a lot of colleagues in a lot of different countries, and on my way back, I said, "Okay, well, interesting, but I can tell they're all Cargill people." They see the same senior leader messaging, they share the same values. I have 2 choices on Monday morning. I can go back in and start my normal habits, catch up from a week, or I could do something different. I could connect with somebody that's not connected to me and drive the potential for how I lead my teams or what I give my teams differently. So, the choice, go to work, and instead, I chose to have coffee with this gentleman right here in the front row. I should have coffee with him. Anyway, the point is, connect with the unconnected. It led to a deep relationship, a strong mentorship. It led me to be on the board of trustees. It led me to the work I'm doing today with graduates of this university in Africa. It led me on this stage by simply having a cup of coffee with someone I didn't know. You are uniquely situated. All right, I almost changed this today to fail. Because who thinks when you're done with school, you're done with school? You're hoping? I was hoping too. Every day I wake up is a development day. This bullseye stands for the zones. Who's in their comfort zone right now, sitting in their seat, watching me speak on stage? That's pretty easy to do. This is the learning zone. If you push on yourself to do the job and go a little farther, you're in the learning zone. This red circle is the terror zone. 15 years ago, this would be terror zone, standing up here on stage. Who would that be terror for today? But you know what? I practiced. I did it over and over and over again, and I did those things where I don't want to do this, but I'll do it because I should do it because it'll make me better. It'll take me into my learning zone, and those around me will be better for it. I have one standing meeting with myself every Friday. It simply says reflection. Every day, every week, I sit down, what goes forward, what stays in yesterday? Because if I'm not learning every single day, about people, about organizations, about processes, I'm yesterday's news. I'm stuck, and I've never been stuck, and I don't intend to be stuck. So as much as you'd like to think graduation is the end, the mindset that every day is a development day is an important one to embrace. All right, this smiley face means we're almost over. But this is where audience participation comes in today, because top 10 tips, if you don't have a piece of paper, you're not writing them down, whatever. I checked in, I'm done, right? I'm going back. I've served, I've done whatever I needed to do today. But to learn to drive something different requires practice. So we're going to practice 3 things today, right now. All right? First thing we're going to practice connect with the unconnected. We're going to practice know and be yourself. Who is sitting by someone they know? This is going to be good. Okay. So you had a choice this morning about who to sit by, right? And as we normally do, we sit by people we know. Remember me saying the value is connecting with people you don't know? You have 1,200 people in William Penn that has something to share with you, a different perspective, a different upbringing, a different vein of education. I challenge you to meet one of those. Also, know and be yourself. I want you to take 5 seconds, and I want to think of something, a character attribute that's positive about yourself. Maybe I am strong. I am smart. I am brave. I am compassionate. So, to connect with the unconnected and to know yourself, I would like each of you to stand up, shake the hand of the person behind you, someone you likely don't know, and introduce yourself as your name and your strength. Okay. All right, I just about lost you. I just about lost you. Okay. We practiced 3 things. Who was that? Was that a little bit uncomfortable for some of you? Maybe, maybe not. We just practiced 3 habits. Connect with the unconnected. Know yourself by introducing, hey, I am Kay and I am strong. And third is getting out of your comfort zone. Work on those 3 things every day. All right, my top 1. This is the most important message. Believe. So this chair, to most of you, looks like a dirty mauve chair. It is. And it's got little knobs on the front of it. It's really disgusting. But I drove it all the way down from Minnesota. And the reason this chair is so important to me is because several years ago, when we were getting ready to remodel Cargill Eddyville Administration Building, we were getting rid of the chairs in my office, and the executive admin said, "Kay, you know what? These are the chairs that we started up with. These are the original chairs." And I said, "You know what? That means these are the chairs I sat in when someone invited me to start their career with Cargill, when someone believed in me when I didn't believe in myself." You see, when I'd finished my lab internship at Cargill, the facility manager at the time, facility manager of Eddyville, said, "Kay, I want you to come in on 8 a.m. on Saturday morning because I want to hear all about biotechnology and what it means for Cargill and what it could mean for Cargill." I was scared to death. I mean, this guy was like the oldest and smartest guy on the planet, right? And who was I? I'm just a junior in high school, or at college, sorry. I know nothing. And so I was scared to death, and 2 hours later, I don't remember our conversation other than one thing he said to me. He said, Kay, I hear you're going to graduate school. Heard you had a lab internship and you're going on. When you're done, would you at least give us a crack at you? I was as good as hooked with Cargill because, I just wanted a job. And for this senior leader to tell me that he wanted me to work for him was so empowering. And in fact, the other thing that made it even more remarkable is that I never thought I'd sit in the chair of a facility manager. When I started my career, I said, maybe someday when I retire, I could be a facility manager. I know I'm being a little bit arrogant. Maybe I'll be a facility manager. And maybe a small facility, Eddyville, just will never come to be. I left that role 2 years ago. I kept this chair in the office amongst the fancy chairs because it was a reminder of two things to me. How important it is to believe in yourself, how important it is to believe in others when they don't believe in themselves. And so I made it a point to bring every talented person I came across to come invite them to my office and sit in this chair and make sure, they didn't know anything about the chair, but the chair was in my office to remind me to let people know, you're bigger than you're thinking you are. So one thing it's important to do is believe. Dream big, act bolder, and make room for expansion. So, one last piece of advice. Your future is bright. You have a microcosm of diversity here that's impressive. I challenge you to never forget to mop the floors when they need mopped, to make doors where you don't see any, to show up as Marilyn every single day of school, every single day of work, to lead with your heart in addition to your intellect, own your balloon moments, fail and learn every day, and believe. Don't settle for excellent. Don't stop at amazing. Go for your own unstoppable. Ready? Go, Statesman. Woo!
Hi, guys. We don't get to leave till we pray. Will you pray with me? Lord God, I thank you for reminding me personally today of the moments when I first went to college a very long time ago. And a professor said in that classroom that first day that 50% of you won't be here next year, so why bother? I thought, well, Lord, you remember my thoughts at that moment. Gosh, I guess I don't have to go to class. And I didn't. And I went home. 15 years later, when my life began to take on meaning, I realized, as Katie Lang had talked about, I needed to have believed. Believe in myself and to follow and listen to you. We ask for guidance for every student to understand they're here to learn and to build a future. And we thank you for bringing them all here today. In Christ's name, amen.